Hello, welcome to Morning Tarot, and we're starting this week on the Pentacles, which is the fourth suit, the final of the four suits of the tarot deck, and then after that there will be the major arcana. It's really pale today, the quality of the camera. I think it's actually really bright outside, and that's making it kind of washed out and weird, so apologies for that if I look a bit washed out and strange. So today we're going to be looking at the 2, 3 and the 4 of Pentacles. Start off with the 2. The Pentacles are the suit that represents Earth. So we're thinking kind of astrologically, we're thinking about Earth signs, we're thinking about the qualities that come with Earth. It's sort of the suit of grounding. It's a suit of kind of material things and manifestation and kind of hard work and the real kind of earthy stuff in life. And starting off with the 2 of Pentacles, you can see a very unusual looking figure. He's always very amusing. He's got this really big sort of hat, standing on one leg. He's sort of juggling these 2 pentacles between the sort of band that follows the infinity symbol. And in the background you can see very big waves with boats, a boat sailing one way and that's a boat disappearing over the horizon. So it's sort of, for a fairly plain image, there is quite a lot going on here. The waves in the background and the ships coming and going, as I said I think before when we're looking at the wands, is it the 3 of wands? Yes, I think it was 3 of wands. I was talking about the fact that I see ships as kind of opportunities and things coming and going, like your ship coming in and sending things out, and so this kind of back and forth energy of lots of things happening. Here there's definitely kind of ships going on fairly bumpy water, so there's quite a lot going on in the background, sort of opportunities disappearing, new opportunities arriving, and it's kind of this idea of almost like flux and change. And this idea of flux and change I think is part of this card, and that's part of this sort of infinity symbol of things going round. And there's very much a sense here of keeping a balance. He is standing on one leg, sort of with this bizarre hat, trying to keep this balance. And so this card makes me think about in terms of sort of security, of maintaining a balance, looking at what's going on in your life and finding a way to kind of juggle everything that's happening. It's a busy card, so when I see this card I tend to think that somebody is busy. They've got a lot of projects, a lot of ventures happening, and they're sort of just having to work pretty hard to maintain a balance and maintain the focus on the things that they want to have. The hat is very significant, I think, because it sort of makes me think almost of needing to keep a level head, because if he tips too far one way, that hat's going to fall off. So I look at this card and I think about someone who needs to sort of maintain their focus and keep a level head, and also kind of look, it's like their own sort of intuition, follow your own ideas and follow your own path. So don't be too swayed by other people. Things might happen in the background, opportunities might seem to come, opportunities might seem to go, and you might want to chase after things. But remember, if you're already very busy, it's very important to be able to maintain your focus and keep a balance and sort of keep things calm and keep things steady. So when you've got a lot going on, you've got a lot of balls up in the air and you're juggling and maybe having to make a lot of adjustments and changes, like standing literally on one foot and having to balance things out. Don't get too involved in trying to take on new things and trying to look at different sort of aspects and different situations. Look at what you've already got and find the best way you can to kind of balance and manage and maintain the things that you're dealing with in your life so that you can keep an equilibrium. There's definite feeling for me of needing to keep equilibrium because this is the suit of Pentacles and this is kind of earthy feeling. It's definitely, I think, a need to stay grounded and keep balanced, sort of a balance in your life. Next, the 3 of Pentacles. So the 3 of Pentacles is a card that has kind of this interesting image. It's almost like a church. I look at this and I see like a church kind of image here, and you've got 3 figures. A guy who's like almost like a monk there with kind of the tonsure. You've got somebody here holding at tools, looks like they're actually working and chiseling on this, and you've got this figure here. And I think, as I mentioned before, when we're looking at the 5 of Wands, when you have people in a card who are all dressed very, very differently, you're looking at people of different kind of backgrounds and people with different energies and different ideas all coming together in the same place for the same kind of purpose. And that's very much what you're looking at here. And I think when you're looking at the 3 of Pentacles, you are looking at a situation where there's a definite feeling of collaboration with other people, of working together, because I don't know, what's that saying? A team is only as strong as its weakest member, etc. So the best thing that you can do, I think, when you see this card is to look at ways that you can diversify, take in different influences, listen to people's opinions. Don't just focus on yourself and your ideas, but make sure that you're actually open to the ideas of others, because there you can do something very well by yourself. When you see this card in this kind of situation, what it's telling you is that you really need to diversify and you need to listen to other people's opinions. You've got to kind of collaborate with people. If this is a work project or a work venture, then you're probably looking at working in a team environment with different kinds of people with different skills all coming together. And when you bring all those kinds of skills together and work on a project in one, then the project is going to take off, and you're going to be able to really use the expertise to create something wonderful, because it takes time. And what these people here seem to be almost creating together, this beautiful kind of archway, and they're all using their different skills. You know, maybe someone's designing and someone is building and someone is kind of managing what's going on. This happens as well in your home, in your life, in your family. Listen to other people, take their advice on board, and give consideration to people's skills. And also, I would say this card also brings an idea of making sure that you fit the right person to the right sort of job. So use people's skills properly. If somebody's very good at something, then make sure that they're actually expressing that. And if you're very good at something, make sure you're expressing what you can do, and don't try to take everything on yourself. Look for ways that you can expand what you're doing, and you can involve people, and it involves suggestions and involve different energies, because doing that and bringing that together means you really can create a strong foundation. You can create something quite beautiful. So you've got sort of the situation here with the two, where someone's taking on a lot, they're having to balance, they're having to weigh things out and try and maintain an equilibrium up on one foot almost on their own. So when you get to the Three of Pentacles, it's almost like that person perhaps is reaching out and thinking, okay, well, what can I do to maintain the best balance, to work on things more sort of effectively? And one way to do that is to actually allow other people in, and to collaborate with other people and work together with other people, and everyone kind of using their unique skills and sort of valuing each other's skills as well. So just because someone doesn't approach something the same way that you do, or somebody might have a different idea, make sure that you value their input and you value their skills, and don't just dismiss what they have to say, but look for ways that you can actually use their views and their skills and their opinions for the greater good of the collective. And the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles is an interesting chap, I think. We're looking here at somebody who is in a very sort of solid background. They've got a lot of very sort of rich looking, varied buildings in the background. So this is sort of a backdrop to a situation which is showing quite a lot of stability, and somebody who's perhaps built something up. Somebody's probably worked quite hard to build up the foundations of whatever situation you're looking at in the background. So they've put a lot into something already. The figure himself is almost wearing like a kind of crown. So it is sort of a card that shows that someone has worked hard to get to where they are and to be in a kind of a fairly solid and stable position. He's sitting on a stone sort of seat here. However, what this card does show is the placement of the pentacles. He's got one pentacle up here on his head, one he's clutching very tight to his chest, and the others are under his feet. So this is somebody who has worked very hard to get into the position they're in, who has kind of had to perhaps fight for their stability or put a lot into it. And now they've reached a situation where finally they have that stability and they've achieved something and have got into kind of a steady position. And now they're almost a little bit frozen in that state. It's quite a defensive sort of card, not emotionally defensive, I wouldn't say, but so much someone who's really hanging on. This card is often called like the card of miser. Pentacles can very much represent financial situations, so perhaps somebody who's worked very hard to kind of pay off debts or to amass money or to kind of do things financially, for example, and when they finally have that financial stability, they are going to hang on to it for all it's worth. This is not someone who's about to take a risk. It's not someone who's about to gamble or about to kind of invest something rashly. They're really hanging on. The problem with doing that is if you hang on to something too tightly, you can get stuck in a situation where you can't sort of expand or move forwards. And there's a little feeling for me of slight fear of moving. It's like, right, I finally got into this position where everything is fairly stable. Everything is okay, it's what I was working for, now I'm just going to hang on to it and hang on to it, and I'm not going to move. And I think there's a feeling of being cut off. If you think about Peter Pan, the story of Peter Pan and Wendy in the shadow, and sort of Peter Pan's shadow being sewn onto the soles of his feet, I think kind of the soles of the feet and the connection with the ground and the connection with earth is like this kind of the flow of life itself, and with Pentacles being the earthly suit as well, having the Pentacles under his feet here is almost like cutting him off from sort of his soul in a way. It's cutting him off from following his sort of desires and things because of this need for stability. Sometimes if you try and hang on to stability too tightly, or you try and stay in position and don't move, then you actually will create a sort of instability because you'll create a slight imbalance. So you may have gone through this situation where you're juggling things and you're trying very hard to balance, and you're sort of trying to create this equilibrium in this busy time, and then you may have sought the help of others and collaborated with people and started and created something beautiful, and then got to this place of a relative achievement of having succeeded at what you're going to do. And then you can get stuck in that position where it can almost feel like a bit of a burden, like the weight of this pressing on his head. He's pleased and he's happy to have created this sort of stable situation, but the tighter you hold on to something, the heavier it can become. And so I think that this card really is a reminder to sort of try and retain the flow of life and stay in the flow, and remember that, you know, there's so many end results to be had in life, and you can do sort of fairly well or get into a position where you feel like you've got some security and some stability, you've worked hard for something, and yes, of course you should enjoy it, but don't just see that as the end finite. And if you try to fight too hard, sort of deflect things, you'll start to feel cut off from your own desires, and you'll focus so much on a situation that you forget about your own sort of creativity and your own needs to do different things and to express yourself differently. I hope that makes sense. I thought it was a bit of a rambly one this morning. Hope everyone's going to have a really great week, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.